glad that you could join me up here today. I know that it's a little bit hectic because we have a lot going on. It's the last period of class on a busy day, so a lot of students may be in and out, but I just wanted to show you around and what our school is like. We're standing out here in front of the flagpole. That wasn't always there. That's kind of a relatively new addition. Our school's only been around for a few years. We were an elementary school and we gradually added a year at a time until we got up to graduating seniors. So in 2013 was our first year to graduate a group of seniors. So we've only graduated 5 graduating classes. And we are also an early college high school, which that means we also graduate students from a junior college as well. So we're really pleased to have you join us this year, and we're going to show you around the building. We are a school that is all located in just one building. We have pre-K all the way up through high school, well technically through college. Yeah. And we're not just in this building because we also bus our kids over to Angelina College where they go to college and take some of their classes. So we also have some teachers over there that are working with the kids as well. So, are you ready to see? The elementary playground is right down there. Since you're a high school teacher, you won't get to go outside very often. But so we can just walk. We'll just walk this way. This is our front entrance. In the mornings we have drop-offs here. You won't have to have morning duty. Our assistant principals or principals will be out on the sidewalks in the morning greeting students. And around on the side, we have a drop-off for the smaller kids, and so it's like this long production. But you will have afternoon duty. We have a rotation, and you will be in a group that will be composed of teachers that also teach like high school. So like you may be your social studies. You may
So I'll be with the other social studies teachers?
You'll be with the other like teachers of your grade.
Oh, okay.
So that way, when we can have meetings, with like all the 9th grade teachers all together at the same time.
So we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you know the students, you know what's going on, and you can do it all at the same time like that. And we have rotations, and right here, over here on the, if you can see over here, on the that pad, that is where the high school students will congregate after school. So whenever you have after school duty, you'll probably be waiting around right there and monitoring high school kids. One thing just to notice, we don't park in the front.
We don't.
Nobody parks in the front. The parking lots are further on around. But that might be interesting to know, because you can see how the cars have already started to line up all the way around.
It's only 7.
Yeah, and it's only it's almost getting out time, but you can tell that. This is our front office, and this is our high school side over this way, and our elementary side is over this way. And this very secure facility, they have to buzz you through for these doors to even open. Down this hallway is our high school administration offices, and that's where our counselor is, as well as our, my office.
Do they have one counselor or 2?
We have just one high school counselor, and then we have an elementary counselor. And the elementary principal's office is right over this way, and the elementary side is that side. So we have one building, but we're divided. We're not divided, but we're kind of split. This is the middle school hall. We have some of our middle school classrooms down this way. And this is our new, this is what we lovingly call the new cafeteria.
The new cafeteria.
And that's our chef in the back. He cooks really great meals here sometimes. He cooks meals just for the teachers, and he sends out emails every day. It's really lovely. We really appreciate our chef. So I think you'll like the food here. And one perk that we have that a lot of schools have is that teachers get free lunch. Yes, we keep that kind of cool.
I also heard that we were going to have free Fridays now. Is that a thing still?
Free Fridays?
free lunch Friday? No, on the days, like Thursday, and then the kids get off Friday. Do we get off Friday?
I'm not sure, and this is our superintendent. Mr. Jones. This is our middle and high school nurse. And there is a procedure. You'll have a folder in your room when school starts that will detail what you need to do to send a kid to the nursing office. You'll fill out a little form. That way, they can send them infrequent flyers. That's what
Is there also like a restroom pass, or do they just like come and go?
we have this year we instituted a restroom pass where they're all the same color. They're red and they have a yellow card inside them. That way when we see them in the hall, we know that they're immediately know that they're sent from the teacher's room. So that makes it a lot easier. You were gonna ask me a question about
the supplies.
or copies or things.
Yeah, it was about the supplies. Say like I need like a sharpener of mine right now. Where would I go? How would I get it?
You just generally email the front ladies up there, and they'll have somebody bring one to your room or something like
And
that.
since you mentioned it, how do I get copies?
Okay, let's go to the copy room.
Okay.
While we're up here, I'll also show you the special ed offices. This is our, this is called the old part of the building, and this is where we still have upper elementary. And the other elementary is down that hall.
Is that younger elementary down there?
This is our copy room. Normally students aren't allowed in here, but it's great because you're not a student, you're a new teacher, that's right. And so these copy machines are very persnickety sometimes. We do have 3 of them. You can see how one of them is out of service. It usually is, and then maybe this one tomorrow and this one the next day. But everybody has a copy account. So if I want to make copies, I would push the copy button here, and then I would log into my number, and then I would push done, and then it would come up with the menu, and then you would push what you want. You can do one-sided to two-sided. If you have a one-sided copy and you want it copied on both sides, you can do that, and that saves paper. So we try to do things that save paper as much as possible. You can go ahead. Don't mind us. It's fun. It saves paper to do it that way. You can also get the copier to staple your papers for you, which is really nice. It will also punch holes.
Is this also like a teacher's lounge kind of thing?
Oh, teachers don't have too much time to lounge, but yes, has done some really nice things with making a nice little environment over here, and they put some nice things on the walls. And we have a refrigerator and a microwave and a Keurig. So anytime you find a break, you can come and grab some, do whatever you need to do here. You can put things in the refrigerator in there. Okay. Do you have any more questions in this room?
Not in this one, but I also have one about like the projector situation. Does everybody get one, or?
Okay, every classroom is equipped with an Elmo. We'll just pause right here and talk about that. Is equipped with an Elmo, and you get a laptop computer that'll be checked out to you. So you can take the laptop home and take it here, and it will be logged on to the campus Wi-Fi. So you have good Wi-Fi while you're here on that computer.
Do our students get laptops, or do they just?
The students, some of the students get laptops. If they are going out to the college, if they're doing the college classes, they will be assigned a laptop.
Yeah. Okay.
And that does help because we also have Chromebooks in our high school rooms. So the kids that don't have an assigned computer usually have access to a computer. So if you need to do an activity with computers, you could have the kids get the Chromebook and use the computer during the classroom. And the kids do have a place where they can print, but it's usually not that easy.
Yeah.
So if we need them to print something, we can do it, but it prints to like one printer that they have to go to. So, but that's okay.
Yes, they have one.
And you were asking me about the technology in the classrooms.
Like the Elmos?
Yeah, so you'll have a laptop computer that you can take home or leave in the classroom. You'll also have an Elmo, and you'll also have a projector in your room. All the rooms are equipped. We don't have smart boards, and some of the teachers complain about the dry erase boards because they're not, they say they're not real, which they're really not real. They're kind of shower boards that don't erase real well. We're trying to get those replaced, but we haven't gotten there yet. And so we have a lot of nice things, but a few things that we're working on.
Do they come with speakers too, or do you have to get your own?
We have sets of speakers in the
Okay.
rooms as well. Good
Okay,
question. Good. Let's go see if we can. I'll show you the special ed office. If there's nobody in there, we might go in the odd room. There's people in there. Okay, this is the room. If kids have an IEP, then that means that they get to have special accommodations, and you probably know that from some of your college classes. But they will have a meeting once a year called the ARD meeting, ARD, Admission Review and Dismissal, which means we're going to look at, are they still in special ed program, which means are they receiving services. Special ed is just really another word for receiving services, because we have so many services that we can offer to kids. And so if kids have needs that, if it's very hard for them to read, or if it's very hard for them to spell or to write, we have different services that are available to them. We this year we have a new software program called Kurzweil 2000, and that allows certain kids know the answers, but just can't get the words out of the text. They need to have help reading, even older kids. And so we have a new program that allows them to put on headphones, and it reads the test orally to them.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Like
And
at my
so-
old school, they used to have some of those.
So we, as a teacher, it'll be your responsibility to make sure you understand that program, get well versed in it, because it will be, when you're testing all of your other kids, you'll have to know which students are allowed to test orally, and then you'll be able to pull up those in that program, and you'll be able to administer those things.
Do I read the questions like in the computer and then they just press play on them, or?
You don't have to do it, because this program, used to, that's what we did.
Oh, okay.
And it was a lot harder. But now with this program, it will read, it's an electronic voice.
Oh,
All you have
okay.
to do is scan the tests into it, and it will read them. But there is some other stuff you have to do, because you may have to, like if it has parentheses, or if it has a box with text around it, or in math it's really confusing because it just reads whatever it sees on the page. And sometimes you have to take the headers and footers off the paper so that it doesn't read those. But we'll show you how to work all of those things.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very handy program, and it does save us a lot of time in the oral testing. We're gonna walk down now. This is the elementary hall, and they're just getting ready to dismiss, so we'll avoid that hall. We have a few more minutes before it all cuts loose. This is a tiny elementary hall. We're gonna walk right down these stairs right here.
Let's go. Boys at the end. Right there, Tiana.
So this is part of the old hall, and we had a remodel this past year, a couple of years ago, that added a lot onto our school, but our school is still not big enough. And so we're about to go outside to the portable buildings. Some of the teachers lovingly call that the trailer park, but it really is not a trailer park. We do our best, and the buildings are nice, and I think you'll find, in fact, you're going to be in one of the portable buildings this year, but I think that you will find that you like them okay. Each teacher will get to control their own thermostat.
I was to say, one of the
which is
teachers
kinda
told
nice.
me I get my own thermostat.
Yeah, so teachers tend to really appreciate that. And we have six portable buildings, and a lot of the high school teachers are out there. We have algebra, we have biology, we have history, Spanish, and the government social studies. Out in portables.
Wait, I do have a question about the grading. Like, how does that all work?
Okay.
Because I'm really confused on that.
Okay, our tests count, major tests count 55%,
Okay.
and daily grades count 45. We only have the two categories we only have two categories. So if you have something that you want to count like 2 daily grades to make it be a little more, you just have to enter it twice. And like you just count 200s or 2 zeros or however that works out. And then for your responsibilities for grades, we need to have at least 1 daily grade counted per week.
Oh, per week or no?
Mhm.
Okay.
And you can take a daily grade every day if you want to. You only have to have 1 per week, and you have to have 2 major tests per grading period.
Okay, and our grading period is 9 weeks?
We have 9-week grading
Okay.
periods. And then we typically have a 9-week test as well. So you have 2 major grades and then a 9-week test for the major grades. Let's walk on around and I'll show you some more parts of our building. This is the old gym. There's nobody in here right now except for the coaches. This is the old gym. This is the elementary gym. This is where the elementary students will do their elementary work. But you, again, won't be in here very much either. These doors lock behind, so one of the things that you'll learn rather quickly is to always have your keys with you. And see, it says no middle school or high school students in this hall, so that'll lock right there behind you. And here we have our portable entourage, and we have high school social studies, we have geography here, we have English over there. Other English over there, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, and we have social studies here, and a little farther down, it's Spanish over there, algebra 1 and math, higher math, algebra 1 and 2.
I don't know.
I'm just making that up. And so anyway, so these are our high school outdoor buildings. I was going to show you the auditorium.
Okay. Before auditorium, okay, so sometimes I do field trips with my kids. Are we allowed to do that here? Is there a special way I'm supposed to do that?
Over field trips.
Yeah.
Yes, make sure it doesn't interfere with state testing. And then there's a form that you'll go online, and I'll show you our entire website. There's a lot of, inside the website, there's a lot of, there's a staff resources place, and then under the staff resources, there's like every form you would need for everything from travel to reimbursements. Reimbursements are frowned upon. Don't do reimbursements. Try to not do reimbursements. Except if you're traveling and it's pre-approved, then you can do reimbursements. But if you need something, you have to do what's called a purchase requisition. So you would fill out a form that would request the money for something, and it would have to be to a certain vendor, and then it would have to be all spelled out what you need. It has to be very, very specific. And then it goes through a certain process where it has to be approved by your immediate supervisor, which is me, and then it goes to the business office for approval, and so it goes through believe it or not, less approval processes now than it did like 4 years ago. When it seemed like you had to go back and forth like 4 or 5 times. You can go ahead and come in here. This is a typical classroom. This is what one of the social studies rooms looks like. Oh, she forgot to turn off her projector. The superintendent hates that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right now.
So is this the equipment I'll be getting?
Use the same type of equipment you'll have in your room. There's a little button right there that says blank that you can push, and it makes the screen go dark sometimes. And that's a hand handy little button that you can use. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for right now. Okay. And yes, you'll have an Elmo like this, and it's all connected through the computer, and it works fine if you leave it all like
Don't touch
that.
it.
If you're in a portable, you are allowed to have a portable refrigerator if you need to, but no microwaves and no space heaters.
Fire, I guess.
So,
Are you gonna show me the auditorium?
yeah, let's go look at the auditorium. I was gonna talk to you just while we're walking around about just some different.
Teachers, please excuse this interruption, but golf practice has been canceled due to the weather. Thank you.
Do we have any activity? Like, I heard we don't have a football team.
There's no football.
There's no football team.
No, there's no football. We have basketball and cross country, and we have swimming, tennis, golf. Whenever the kids are out here going to classes, they're not allowed to go in that door, which they want to because it's closer. But that's the elementary hall, so I mean they would be tripping over little kids if they went down that hall. So they always have to go through this, and I'll show you. It is longer, but it's the only way that they're allowed to travel.
Yeah, okay, so let's just talk about that.
How many stories is this building?
Two technical stories. We don't have a lot of electives because we're a charter school, but we do have some very good electives. And this is our choir room. They're in class right now, so we're not going to disturb them. But that's the choir room, and then we have the auditorium. And I think they're practicing for a play in there, so we won't go and look at them either. This is the stairs that go up to where we were a few minutes ago. Another thing that's new, I'll show you right here. This door, you can see how it is open. I mean, the bar is pushed in so it'll stay open during the day. That's a new development. Last year it wasn't like that. It has always been a locked door right here. But we've added this hallway to give the high schoolers access to the back hall. And this is how they actually get out to the portable buildings, is through these doors now. So they would come in from the doors where we walked in, walk up by the auditorium doors and out these doors and around through this now protected and covered hallway. This hallway had always been open, and so it wasn't, we didn't allow students to use it because it was just open to the public. So now we do, so then they can go down this hall.
Okay. Well, hey, you could have took more. You already gave me 20.
To get back to middle school and wherever
Yeah, about
they're
30.
going,
About 30.
like that.
That already
Go
do.
ahead and kill it. School was recently given an A rating.
Really?
So we are, and we received it for our second year in a row. So that is a very, very excellent rating, and we're very proud of that. And so now, instructionally, our goal is to maintain, which sometimes maintaining something is even harder than getting it the first time, because you had to do all this, you had all this motivation to gain a goal, but to just maintain it might seem a little more lackluster. So we are going about lots of instructional. You're going to see me in your classroom a lot because I take my job seriously as an instructional leader. Are you brand new to teaching?
No, I've been doing it a few years. So
Okay, so you have a little bit of experience. Okay. One of the things that in the past, like several years ago, my first few teaching jobs, I had principals that mostly saw their job as managing the facility and doling out discipline. And so sometimes, kids would get sent to the principal's office and teachers would get sent to the principal's office. And if you went to see the principal, it probably wasn't a good idea. It probably wasn't good. So, but these days, principals are being trained as instructional leaders. So it's very important for us to be in the classrooms. So I see managing teachers as one of my main duties, and the most important one, because that is where we manage the student learning, which is what we're all about as a school. We want to make sure that our students are learning. Our middle school was targeted this year, so we are not quite as highly ranked with our middle school, but we are, and as a high school, we have to think about, well, those kids are going to be moving up to high school. So we're doing everything we can instructionally at middle school to bring those kids up into high school so that we can maintain our A rating. So there's a lot of instructional coaching, there's a lot of data meetings, there's vertical team meetings, we have PLC meetings. So we meet a lot, and we try to build a lot of camaraderie and culture among our teachers. If you're a teacher, you're not just in a box by yourself. Although as a new teacher you may feel like that, sometimes it's hard to not feel like that. You just have groups of kids coming to you all throughout the day. But we strive really hard to get that feeling of teamwork. We put you together, and we're also going to put you together with a mentor who will be an experienced teacher who will be able to tell you things like what to do about a substitute folder, and what to do about fire drills, and what to do about when this happens or
Like
that
fire
happens,
drill or
because
something.
it will happen. And so that's what we do. And maybe we can walk through here.
Sorry.
This is our new addition, and so this became the middle school, but it's some high school too. This is is that your book?
Yeah, that's your book.
It's our yearbook room in here, and I don't know what that is, but robotics. Oh, we have robotics classes going on right now. Some of our really great bulletin boards with our graphic design students have made these. Featuring our students. This is really fun. I hadn't seen this before. Love that. Wow. Okay. That's our counselor's office right here. She handles all of our scheduling kids for their classes and for their college classes. One thing that's very important, let me show you the cafeteria where you'll probably be eating, because we have 30 minutes for lunch. This is the restroom that would be the one that you would probably come to from the portables, but yeah, that's why it's about to get really busy. Sorry, elementary nursing home. I don't know if you saw that before.
Oh,
This is also cafeteria. So when you're out in the portables, this is actually a lot closer. You can just come right in from that downstairs hallway where we were just a few minutes ago. Just cut right in here, grab your lunch, and go back to your
is there
room.
microwaves and stuff in there?
There's microwaves in there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get. We're not really good on drinks. Bring your own water. I'll bring my own water, but usually the chef makes really good, like Spanish pizza, and sometimes he makes things the kids don't like, but the grown-ups like. So. I'm going to walk us through the HR. This is the business office. Coming down these stairs. This is where any needs that you might have regarding questions about your paycheck, your benefits, anything that you might need like that, you would come down here to this hall. And we'll just walk through here real quick and quiet. We're just hacking through, working on a little project. This is our building, and this is where we have people working on computers. This is our technology department right in here, and we have one. This is our one computer lab, and we have Mr. Horrocks. He's our full-time technology guru, and he fixes everything. And there's Mr. Smith, our amazing custodian that takes care of all of our needs. And so this is what it looks like down here. So if you have any kind of technological difficulties, you're going to email support, and so that they'll fix you right up. And so kids have labs in here sometimes, and this is normally, I think, used more by the elementary and the middle school, since our high school kids have access to their own
Is this for the
technology.
printers?
No. They're in the portable, beside the portable we looked at. In one of the English portables, there is a printer that the students' printers will print to.
Oh,
The
okay.
students' computers will print to.
I just assumed because all the computers were in here.
And all of these computers print to here.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a student that just needs to print something and they can get to it from the internet, if this room is not occupied, you can send them down here and they can print to here.
Okay.
I think that's kind of unofficial, but sometimes.
We'll keep it on the down low.
Right. And
Is there still a music room in here?
there's a music room back here, the elementary music room. Elementary music and art, I think, right here. This is the back hall that goes to the other gym.
I'm kind of new with teaching. Could you give me like some pointers on what mistakes you made whenever you?
Oh my goodness. Let's keep walking.
Okay.
That can take me another 20 minutes. There are several mistakes to avoid whenever you first become a teacher.
Okay.
And one of those is just trying to do too much too soon.
Yeah.
I've heard it said don't smile until Christmas. And I know a lot of teachers kind of go by that, but classroom management is the key to life. Structured, if you can be structured and well managed so that your class is respectful and exhibits appropriate behaviors, then you're going to go for. One of the big things that some people struggle with is they won't ask for help. And we've hooked you up with a mentor that will be happy to help you. And so you should really not be afraid to ask for help. And I was afraid sometimes to be firm with students. Don't be afraid to be firm. You're not going to lose them. They will actually respect you more if you're hard on them sometimes. And there's a lot of times when I didn't think it was okay to leave my to-do list undone. You can't get it all done. There's no way to get it all done. So you will want to leave yourself an out. Go home to your family. The new day will begin tomorrow. It's not going to be over. Teaching just goes on and on and on. And so sometimes we take it home with us, or we get emotionally attached. And those are some of the things that can make it harder on you. Also, just worrying too much or spending too much of your own money.
Oh.
And I do that. I still do that. Like, oh, I want colored paper. You don't have to do those things. It's gonna be okay. You know. Let's see. Those are some things that I noticed. And you need to be clear about your expectations as a teacher. Yeah, syllabus is a great idea to really get kids ready for college as well, because in college they're all going to have a syllabus. And so to get them introduced to it now, to where they know what to expect and what the class is going to consist of and be like, that's a really good idea. Beyond classroom management, being flexible, sticking to your plans, but also just allowing some flexibility in there. And yeah, those are some things. Can you think of any other questions?
I mean, there's some. Are they allowed to go through this way, or is there other ways that they can go through?
And at the end of the day, they come out here. We can walk around and show where they're coming from. Sorry. This is the exit back for most of the high schoolers in the afternoon. If they're
Okay.
back here in the portables, they don't have to go back out the front of the building.
And start.
Okay, here we are back in the classroom, and I was going to show you a couple of folders that everybody will have in their classroom. We have every room will have a black folder and a red folder.
Okay.
The black folder is for discipline and nurse passes.
Okay.
And these are your bathroom passes, so that everybody can. We talked about these earlier, so that if a kid is seen out in the hall, all the kids look the same. If they have permission from a teacher to be out in the hall, they have a red lanyard and a yellow piece of paper in there.
Is it just high school that gets those, or middle school too?
Just high school
Okay.
for right now. And so on the yellow piece of paper, it will say bathroom or office, and it'll say what teacher sent them and how long they've been out of the room. It'll have what time. So that is just a good way to just control safety and make sure kids are where they're supposed to be. Yeah. These are the nurse passes, so that we know why kids are getting sent to the nurse's office, and we can also tell how many times they go.
Oh.
Some people have a headache every day. And so there's that. And this year we have two different kinds of discipline referrals for high schoolers. We have the standard disciplinary form, but we've instituted a new kind of like a middle of the road discipline. It's not as bad as getting sent to the principal's office, and it gives the teachers more empowerment to handle their own classroom management and discipline. So it doesn't have to go through a principal? It goes to the principal's office, but the child doesn't actually have to go see the principal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this does go through the principal's office. It's a detention notice. So the teacher would fill this out, and the kinds of things that this detention notice counts for is excessive tardinesses or absences, rude, discourteous, disrespectful, inappropriate behavior. So instead of just sending them the same kids to the office, and the principal's overwhelmed, and then sometimes they don't get dealt with, and sometimes they just get sent back, and it doesn't really change behavior. And so actually our teachers came up with this idea.
Really?
Yes, and we just instituted it this year, and it's working great. Because it's a lot of times the same kids that are just rude or disrespectful, and so they don't like it. It's 30 minutes after school, 3 days a week.
Would I have to be a detention? Do we rotate too?
Another thing that the teachers who suggested we do this also volunteered to stay after school and do it.
So I don't have to.
You get your work hours are from 7:30 in the morning until 4. So you're not getting off until 4 anyway. On the rotations, let me show you the rotation sheet. This is an example of the dismissal sheet right here. And so the different teachers have a different schedule and rotation on the after school stuff. And so you'll be staying till 4 anyway. Sometimes you may have outside duty. Some of those teachers have been released from the outside duty in order to do the detention. So it's just a different thing that they're doing. But the kids don't like it. And so you can say 3 strikes and you're out. If I have to call your name one more time, I'm sending you to detention. And teachers, I think, get in rut where they feel bad about sending people to the principal's office because they know the principal's busy and they know that this kid's going to misbehave every day. You can't sometimes just force people's behavior to change. And so this has been a very positive way to like give negative reinforcement. So we're positively reinforcing them to, we're negatively reinforcing them to stop with their negative behavior. And so we send them to this after school detention, and it's just 3 days a week. But yeah, like if they tear up school property or disturb class even, it's really just up to the teacher. Mischief, if they're on their phone or electronic device, instead of just having one mode of action, we now have another choice. And this is, the teachers love this.
You love that?
Yes, you're gonna need a lot of these.
Okay.
And use them because
Hopefully not.
yeah. And so
Also, another thing about substitute, is that a?
yeah, whenever, if you need to be out, we have, everything is done through, we're Google School, so we do everything through Google School, Google Calendar, and there's a shared Google Drive that, it's actually a calendar. You input when you need off, like you ask through the system to be off, and then it'll say, will you need a substitute or not, and you just check the box, yes, you need a substitute. Well, when you check yes, instead of it just going, like, not just a few years ago, it would go to our secretary, who would have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and try to call substitutes and things like that, you know. So now it just goes electronically through the system, and it will put your date and your name out there to our list of subs, who will then just click it and choose it.
Oh.
And so then they will just choose to take the job. So that has streamlined things tremendously. And you should have a substitute folder in your room.
Yeah.
The list of everything that goes in the substitute folder is in the teacher handbook. You can also Google online and find all the things that go in a substitute folder, but you want to have a seating chart because the substitute, you know, they will say that they're different names.
Yes.
And so you want to have a seating chart, and you want to leave plenty of work for the substitute.
Just busy.
Just, it doesn't have to, yeah, it's just whatever you want to leave, but you just want to leave them enough to do. Because the very worst thing, because a substitute is going to come in, they're not going to know how to control your classroom.
Yeah.
They're not going to know the kids, and kids aren't going to behave for them as well as they will for you. So you just make sure that they have enough work, and it needs to be not high stakes, but they can't just feel like it's busy work.
Yeah.
Or they'll just be angry at the teacher,
Or
and
they
then
won't
they
do it.
won't do it. So it needs to be relevant work that they
Not
can do,
just a
or
crossword.
it could be watch a movie. They just need to be engaged. Engagement is the key word. So we just want them to stay engaged. We're trying to build a culture here to where the kids are engaged 100% of the time, and that's one of our goals. We just have this engagement rule. So just think about: are they doing something?
Yeah.
Are they learning?
Are they engaged?
Are they engaged? And the red folder, every room has a red folder. That way, emergency red. So we have a flip chart with emergency procedures right here. We have, if under dire needs, you put this sign outside your door.
Do you?
If you have an emergency in your classroom, you can certainly do that. And then we have the hallway routes for tornado plan, emergency folders, and over here on the wall is also the tornado plan, the fire extinguisher. Here's the fire alarms, and this is the exit routes.
Okay.
So
Which portable are we
we're
in right now?
3. We're the one right here in the center. So although it's upside down to us, it would be right. We would exit to the right out of these doors.
And are the intercoms different here? Because at my old school, they just look a bit different. Do you know what I mean?
If you need to talk to the office at any time, I had a teacher a couple of years ago that had an altercation in her classroom, where a girl was actually threatening a guy. Like they were elevated, they were very angry, and she was saying, "Come on over here, I'll take you out," and all kind. She was very angry and upset, and I just went and pushed the button on the wall. Or the teacher did. Just went and pushed the button on the wall. And that opens the channel to the main office, the main front office. So once they pick up the receiver, and they can put it on speaker in there if they want, but they can hear everything going on in your classroom.
Oh, okay.
So it also provides a witness.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening, and nobody else but me
Who's gonna
is the
believe?
only adult here to believe it, you can push call, and you will have a witness because they will be able to hear what you're saying, what is happening in your room. And so that's a safety thing as well. And you can also just push the button, even if you can't be over here. Like if somebody's passed out and you're trying to figure out what to do, and you're across the room, they can hear everything in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very good procedure. I was going to show you the nearest restroom because
Okay.
that's a huge thing. Because sometimes we only have 3 minutes between classes, and so when you're in a pinch, was there anything else that I was going to grab out of this room?
Well, actually, I did have one more question. Do we
Okay.
have a free period for ourselves, or just 7 classes all for us?
You
or-
will have a conference period, a full conference period, and we will not disrupt your conference more than 1 time per week. That's the rule.
Yeah.
I've heard of it happening a small amount more often than that, but we will try very hard to give you your conference because we understand that you need planning time. Oh, and our district has also we're going with a 4-day week next year.
Oh, okay.
It is still in the approval stages, but our superintendent has put it out there as if it's going to happen. We had a full-on parent community-wide meeting last year. They were trying to push it through last year, but it didn't go. They didn't have enough support. So everyone has been sent out a letter for this big change, and it looks like we're moving toward the change for next year. We're also in the process of another change, which is building a new high school. So right now we have these portables, but they're just a temporary fix.
Okay.
Let me show you where that bathroom is real quick.
All right.
And our 45 minutes may be about up. So you'll take your keys with you when you're in a hurry, and you'll have 2 keys. One will say 1 and one will say 7. 7 is the one that gets you into all the buildings. 1 is the one that gets you into the main building. It's a little quieter now in all the halls. So you'll come right here. This is the elementary hall. So sometimes you can't use this bathroom because you'll be waiting through a caterpillar of little kids. But on most days, you'll just come to this bathroom right here if you're just in a big hurry. So that works.
There's a lot of stairs.
There's a
Is there an
lot of-
elevator here?
There
For
is an
handicap?
elevator, and students are not allowed to use the elevator unless they are in a cast or have a leg problem or something. And in that case, they'll go by the office, and the front office will send out an email to everyone saying,
She can use it.
yeah, Sally Jones is allowed to use the elevator today because she has a cast on her leg or whatever. So that about wraps up our tour today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
And I'm looking forward to an excellent year, and you're going to be a great teacher.